Hello everyone! I'm Sarah Richardson, class of 2015, which means that I had to complete all of my required volunteer service hours within a single semester. It's a flawless system, really, forcing college seniors to complete 40 hours of community service during one of their busiest and most stressful semesters. You might be wondering why the school would ever want to change it, but I guess we'll never know. Starting with the class of 2017, students will be able to complete these hours throughout their first 3 years at Eckerd, during which they will also need to take at least one reflective service learning course before they take their capstone course their senior year. You might be asking, what's a reflective service learning course? And that's what I'm going to be talking about with you guys today. So as you can probably guess, reflective service learning courses, or RSLs, have 3 basic parts to them. Let's start with learning. Students will register for a class, which will have academic content just like any other class would. For example, writing in the garden.
So, what we're going to do now is go outside.
Moving on to service. Now, in addition to their regular coursework, students will also have to complete a service activity. Students are able to count this work towards their total 40 hours, and in some instances, students will even be able to finish all of their 40 hours while taking an RSL. The activity is built into the curriculum and is relevant to the class material, like helping elementary schoolers understand the joys of writing and gardening. Don't eat that! And finally, reflection. Reflection brings the 2 previous components together. The idea being that the student will learn more about themselves through a combination of learning in the classroom and the real-life scenarios in their service work. I learned that I don't want to have children. Thank you, reflective service learning. It sounds great and all, but the service and the reflection part might be a little bit harder to grade than the learning part. Luckily, the General Education Committee, the good sports that they are, has you covered. This list of service learning outcomes, or SLOs, can be used by professors to create and grade assignments. There are a total of 14 goals on this list, but a course will usually only focus on about 3. Each individual outcome has 3 different parts to it. These are meant to help your student more thoroughly complete the task, and you can use them to score your students' accomplishments. If you don't have a copy of the rubric, you can request one from the General Education Committee, whose email I will include in the description box. To use an example, let's look at the second SLO, connects discipline knowledge to service learning experience. This is super general and can be applied to basically any course. At the first level, students are asked to connect class content in some way to their service experience. This could form a simple assignment like, how does what you've learned about writing relate to your service experience so far? This could be part of a longer list of essay questions. The second level, slightly more in-depth. Students are asked to consider how what they've learned in the classroom can benefit them or has benefited them in their service work. For example, what have you learned in this course that could help to teach children about teamwork and community through maintaining a garden? The third level is the reflective component, asking students to describe change in themselves. Talking about ourselves. It's our favorite thing to do. For example, describe how what you've learned and seen firsthand has fundamentally changed your understanding about writing. Once a student has had the opportunity to demonstrate all 3 levels of a goal, it's time to give them a score. Now, if a student fails to accomplish any of the 3 goals, they get a 0. Otherwise, if they completed the first level, you give them a 1. If they did 1 and 2, you give them a 2. And if they did all 3, you give them a 3. And then you take the highest value from that, and that's the overall score. But what if you're like me, an exceptionally gifted student? You can assign a 4 to denote that. At the end of the course, these ratings are entered into Dazzle, which I actually talked about in my writing rubric video. You'll receive an email near the end of the semester with further instructions. I hope you enjoyed the short video. If you have any questions, you can contact the General Education Committee, the Service Learning Office, or the members of the Educational Assessment Committee. That's a mouthful. You guys should call it MEAS for short. Have a great day.